Hey guys, Justin here. I'm back in Perth right now, yes. After returning to Perth yesterday, I just got off the plane yesterday, and today is time for bus requests to resume here in Perth. On board, here we are actually at Scarborough Beach bus station, and on board Route 990, high frequency route to Perth City Busport. Thank you so much Perth Transport for this request here. So here's Scarborough, and for this high frequency route, 7 minutes per bus on weekdays. But unfortunately, there's one to Glendalough Station, only to Glendalough Station, and one to City Busport. So basically, it's still 15 minutes per bus if you want to go to the city directly. But technically, if you want to go to the city, just take the Glendalough Station and change to train, so you can go to the city right away. But we'll take all the way through on board 2251 here for the bus. Now this is actually, today is actually pretty unfortunate for this first route I want to film. It's so unfortunate, the circumstance. So when I arrived at Scarborough, I missed a new bus. I missed 3325 that goes to Perth City Busport. I missed that because it left in front of my eyes. And I waited for the next one, which is 2677 to Perth Busport. I bought that one, but since I boarded it, I found out that the bus has ads all over the windows that I cannot even film. But unfortunately, I tacked on, so that's why I took 2 stops for on the 2677, and then I walk back to Scarborough through this path, and then I wait for this one. So basically, I waited for around 15 to more than 15 minutes, like around 30 minutes just to get this bus. But here we go, finally we're on board. And hopefully this guy drives okay. Because I'm here in Perth, I cannot sit at the front. If I sit at the front, if I talk, the driver is gonna know that I'm actually filming and knows that I'm actually sometimes talking trash about him, so that's why. Gonna sit back here and enjoy the ride. This route should take around 40 to 45 minutes to get to Perth City Busport. And yes, just to tell you guys, my Smart Rider card is now a concession fare. So finally, I got my concession fare for my Smart Rider after no concession fare last year. This year I'm studying full load for my university course, so that's why they give me the concession fares this time. And it's way cheaper now, finally. I don't need to buy day passes. I don't need to buy day riders before to cheat the system. I think this is the stop. Yeah, this is the stop that earlier on I got off. I got off right here and I walked back to Scarborough Beach bus station because on board that bus I cannot film. So we'll pass through Innaloo and we'll pass through the Glendalough Station later on. And then we'll keep going through after hitting Glendalough Station through to the North Perth area, and then we'll head straight down to Perth Busport from the north. This guy's driving pretty decently right now, not very slow, so good. And finally back to Perth buses, which for sure it is not going to be insanely long. Like for the longest route here in Perth, I technically already filmed it. It is 220, the longest normal route that actually goes through everything. I guess technically the longest route would be 328 from Midland to Wandawi, but technically that's it. But for the longest technically count as normal route is 220, which I filmed, so that's why no routes will go longer than that probably. So that's why it's good to film buses here in Perth, because it's efficient, not like in Hong Kong. Although Hong Kong buses are fun, that the path that they go through, but it's pretty long. So that's why. So I have watched Mark's video when I was in Hong Kong before. About his trip to Wandawi. I'm not so sure whether I want to actually go to Wandawi once. It looks pretty fun, but at the same time it's not, because I need to wake up so damn early. Yeah, the tag-on machine for this bus has a little bit of an issue at the front when people board. they can't tack on the machine because it just does not work, which also happens on me. So that's why I need to tack on the driver's machine instead. So that's why. Decent amount of people will board this route. Of course, it's not like Hong Kong that the buses might get packed, but yeah, now I'm going to use the correct terms now to actually call the bus numbers instead of actually before I spit out all of the numbers individually. I'm going to do it in like how you say the years. So that's why it's 2251. I'm not going to do 2251 now. I've taken 990 before once, full journey actually also, but I took it from Perth to Scarborough, so that's why this time I chose to film the other way. Then I can explore the other way. Although it's literally going to be practically the same, but it's just something new, it's taking the other direction. It's still the area of Scarborough here. And also the one more thing that makes Perth buses efficient is that not too many people board and not a lot of red lights in the suburbs. Look at this. There are like literally no red lights in this suburb here. It's just all of the red lights are inside the city. And if you're actually traveling out here, you basically get a red light after like 4 to 5 blocks of streets instead of like every single block in Hong Kong. So that's why, and also you see another red light here, but it's green, so perfect. See how efficient this is for Perth buses, very efficient. I can technically already see the city in the background. And one more thing is, not every single stop there will be people boarding. Not like in Hong Kong. Because all the routes travels along the city, it goes through Central and goes through Kowloon. Basically every single stop there will be people boarding. Because in Hong Kong, like 80 to 90% of the people will have to rely on public transport. Not like here every single one just drives. Unfortunately is that those guys tacked off at the machine, but it just denies them because the machine does not work. So basically they didn't tack off. Yeah, so technically they did not tack off. And what the hell is going on here? Why this guy does not move? Those guys got it off already, so just move. There's also 410. This route goes to Stirling. It goes down here and loop back up to Stirling. There are actually a lot of routes to go to Stirling from Scarborough, which actually there are like 4 routes that goes to Stirling from Scarborough, which I think the 990 coming in. So the 4 routes to Stirling is 410, 412, 421, and 422. But the 3 routes that usually you will take is 410, 412, or 421. 422 is kind of useless. 2 hours per bus for Scarborough, so that's why. 1 hour per bus for Karrinyup. That's why no point of taking 422. It's just pretty dumb. So just take 421. 421 is the fastest to go to Stirling. And then it's 30 minutes per bus for 421, I think. Okay, this is gonna be bad. Just put a tape on the machine and just said, oh, this doesn't work. Just tack on the. Oh, there's one successful tack on. That's pretty cool. I'm not so sure what's the service. I think this is the 1155 service from Scarborough. So. I missed the 1125 service, which was the 3325 for that bus, and I got on the 1140 service, but that bus have all of the ads, so I can't film it, so that's why now I'm on the 1155 service. by the chemist warehouse over there. I don't know what this area is actually. Okay, so finally that guy sitting behind me left. So that's why I can just bring my phone up a little bit instead of actually like hiding it. Sorry about the shakes. The UV again is insane in Perth, so that's why I just tried to dodge it a little bit. So our first stop will be need to hit Glendalough Station first, which there are some routes that terminate at Glendalough Station, including Route 15 and a route that goes to the ECU Mount Lawley campus. I don't remember that route. Is it 406? So and also I don't need to wear masks anymore here in Perth, so that's why it's perfect. Back to the rural areas that in Hong Kong is pretty lacking. So, but still so far Hong Kong is my home and it will be forever my home. I'm not so sure whether I'm gonna feel Perth ever as my home. Sorry to off the Perth ears, but yeah, it's just, I'm not saying Perth is bad. Of course Perth is a very nice place with very decent trains and very decent buses, but it's just when you're born and lived in your hometown for a whole life and you need to go abroad and stay there, you just doesn't feel home for the other abroad places. But when I'm here, of course I will enjoy Perth and I need to do with my studies, so that's fine. Study will be the main part starting from this year, so that's why. Filming will be just randomly throughout when I have time. We have a 413 that I think is just random service. Still not at Glendalough Station yet, so that's why. And also one more thing talking about the red lights, because here for Perth, the pedestrian green lights last very short. It's like around 10 to 20 seconds just change back to red for the pedestrians. So that's why for green lights, for the red lights for cars, it doesn't need to stop for a long time. Usually it turns green after 30 seconds of stopping, so that's why, not like in Hong Kong, over 1 minute. And there's so many of them too, so that's why it just makes it miserable. But I'm not talking that there are no dreadful red lights here in Perth. There's one dreadful red light in Fremantle, East Fremantle, at the junction part where it says turn to North Quay. That light is miserable. Literally, that light is miserable. I waited for 3 minutes one time over there. But overall speaking, the lights are decent here in Perth. You don't need to get stuck behind red lights. Bunch of car rentals here. Yeah, this is actually one of the biggest part here at Osborne Park, with tons of car shops like Honda, Suzuki, Mazda. All of them are actually located here. Got some money boarding here. Because so far, actually I've taken a few trips already back in Perth after I arrived. I still have yet to actually take the seat at the front. Because the first trip I took 34, back from city to my place, and I have luggage, so of course I can't sit at those seats. And then afterwards, today, when I tried to take buses again, off the seat at the front just got stolen every single time when I want to take. So, later hopefully we can get a bus that I can sit at the front finally. That's a lot of people actually, considering every single stop right now. Not so sure what this route is by. Is it by Swan? Or is it by Path? I'm not so sure about this route, but yeah. Now I bet it's not by Transperth, because Transperth definitely not up here. Oh, just turned red, unfortunately. Oh, looks like we're almost at Glendalough Station. I think it's over there, Glendalough Station. Yep, train station is at the front. I saw the train already. We have the train to Perth.
It's as far as Frobisher, isn't it?
That's Frobisher.
Oh, not Frobisher, Main Street.
From there, it's about walk out.
Oh, okay.
Okay, talking about dreadful red lights. There is dreadful red light right here.
Or we can get
Waited for around a minute here. The train station is at the front, Glendalough Station. I think we do need to turn into the Glendalough Station bus terminus. Or maybe just stop on the side road, but I think we do need to turn in there. Yep, bus station. Yep, we do need to turn into the bus station. Which for Glendalough Station, the bus station is pretty lame, honestly.
That one there is somewhere else.
There are like no routes here, so that's fine. Was it 407 for that route that goes to ECU? I'm checking the routes here. Setting down only for stand 6. So it looks like stand 5 is for 990 to go to Perth Busport. The stop towards Scarborough direction is actually on the street, on the side of the street. We have 414 here to go to Stirling Station, 15 to Perth Busport. And we have over here the routes that goes to other places over here. Stand 2 here for 85, 95 and 413. And 406, that's the one that goes to ECU. So you see right there, there's a 990 passing through. There goes that 990. That one's from Busport and it stops right there. So Glendalough, one of the few overground stations here in Perth. Namely, the other one is just Cannington, so that's why this is one of the 2 overground stations. Alright, next is out to the city. Very decent driving right now, so oh, red light, unfortunate, in front of me again. But that's why I like, but the buses here is good because the paths are designed for buses. Like, look at all these paths, it's wide open, which is easy for buses to run through. Not like in Hong Kong, double-decker buses runs through the narrowest paths. Like, why? And of course here all of the buses are single-deckers. I might try to actually book a ticket for a Perth Explorer bus or something like that, then I can film on the upper deck. Which that would be cool, but I don't really know the system. I would try to figure out how to book an Australian ticket, because that one I will actually change my train channel 1500 subscriber special. I'm not going to take this Prospector. The Prospector is a little too early, so that's why I would take the Australian, because down to Bunbury, I might just do a trip down to Bunbury and take the same train back. In the evening, I would take the 9 o'clock service down, and I would take the 17 something service back up to the city. Drink some water there. But seriously though, it's way too hot right now in Perth. Jeez Louise. Tomorrow, according to my weather report app on my phone, 38 degrees maximum. Holy shit. But actually, although it's hot, in Scarborough it feels pretty good because wind. So, wind is pretty good. It feels great having the wind in Scarborough on the side. But during winter, don't give me wind, jeez Louise. In summer, give me more wind and it feels great, but no wind please during winter. But here in winter, it's going to be the most windy days of all, so that's fine. Just past for Glendalough Station, we're almost at around the High Street area and then down to North Perth. This is Mount Hawthorn. Stop here. So 402 also stops here. Someone pressed the bell, no one get off. got off, so the driver was a little bit pissed just there because consecutive 2 stops now with the bell pressed, but no one get off. So that's why I just like, don't press the bell, please. If you don't know where to get off, check the map on the app, freaking A. Yeah, check the app or check Google Maps. Look at the map where you need to get off and just look at the stop next to it. Flinders Street. Made it to Flinders Street, which is good because Flinders Street is where the 970 would take sometimes a little bit. Yep, made it. Here. Keep going straight. We'll go back to the main street first. Then we just go straight down after that. This is a very decent driver. We're almost at the terminus. I love the street. Yep, we're almost there. Auckland Street. North Perth here. So because just earlier on, I already knew that I actually got my concession fares because when I took to Stirling in the morning, I took to Scarborough, it only cost me $1.98. So that's why the fare is definitely fixed now. 384 to Mirrabooka bus station, which from Busport, I think. Yeah, from Busport. Hopefully Hong Kong viewers will watch these again. Because although I know not a lot of Perth viewers actually watched my Hong Kong premieres, but that's okay. I still enjoyed all of you guys and I appreciate all of you guys' support. 30 minutes in. Like for Perth, the average traveling time for buses will be around 30 to 40 minutes. So now we just take this path down to Perth Busport, which will be shared by a lot of routes. So here's the bus stop, which is definitely shared by 970 as well. Oh my gosh, there they are, all of the buses. We have 386, 387, 384, 388, 389, 970 and 990, all to Perth Busport. Red light. I didn't mark down the bus number, 2251. Bus here, $3.89. And made it to Perth Busport. Perth City is at the front. Nice looking church here. I still didn't figure out I actually need to go to church, so that's fine. Busport, turn down and trains there goes a Midland train. Yep, that's a Midland one. Into Midland. Made it! Here we are at Perth Busport. Let's look at where we're gonna stop. Look at the panel, 2251, stand number 1. Oh, okay, stand number 1 is okay because then we don't need to loop around. Let's get off as soon as we turn in. And made it! Perth Busport! Here's stand number 1, we'll get off right here.